friends, I'm Srini Advali and you're watching Srini Unplugged. Please do like this video, share and subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Friends, China never ceases to surprise the world. They recently have had one more surprise 5 days back, and luckily that surprise is not targeted towards India. That surprise is targeted towards the United States of America itself. And in today's video, we are going to just understand what is the surprise all about and why is China doing it. Okay, so without much further delay, let's get started. Friends, 5 days back, in the China's military exploits US troops, veterans, and generals. Okay, this was the title of the article published in Washington Post on the 8th of September 2023. Now, the question that needs to be understood is why is China trying to exploit the current and former employees of United States military, to be very precise. Okay, so we need to understand that. The article goes on to explain that there is a lot of gap in the Chinese military ecosystem, in lot of areas, and they want to fill those gaps by basically leveraging the subject matter expertise of these veteran professionals. Okay, so that's what China is trying to do. Okay, and how is it doing it? So before that, the understanding the how part of it, we need to understand how does the US defense system works. Okay, so that itself is a big complex process, but in a nutshell, like any nation, so the government cannot do everything on their own, so they have to work with private entities. So okay, so US also work with some of the private entities as far as their defense area is concerned. So what are some of the companies that United States works with? Okay, so let's have a look at that. So friends, basically, if you see, we have companies like DynCorp International. So DynCorp is a private military contractor that provides a wide range of services to government and businesses around the world. They have a long history of hiring former US military personnel to teach advanced military skills, including weapons training, close quarter combat, and counterinsurgency techniques. Okay, so this company DynCorp basically teaches all these things. Okay, and how do they teach all these things? They use the services of the former military guys of the United States of America. The second company, Cache International, again the same thing, right? Another private military contractor that provides training and support services to the United government. They also hire former US military person to teach advanced military skills as well as technical and engineering skills. Okay, BAE Systems. BAE Systems is a British multinational defense, security and aerospace company. They have a large number of facilities around the world. BAE Systems is pretty big, friends. Okay, and they hire former US military personnel to teach a variety of military skills, including weapon training, cyber warfare, and intelligence gathering. Okay, and next is L3 Harris Technologies. Again, American aerospace, defense, and electronics company. Okay, and they have a wide range of training programs, and they hire former US military personnel to teach a variety of military skills, including pilot training, special operations training, and intelligence training. Okay, and last but not the least, Boeing company. Boeing is an American multinational corporation that designs, manufactures, and sells airplanes, rotorcrafts, rockets, satellites, telecommunications equipment, and missiles worldwide. They have a number of training facilities around the world, and they hire former US military personnel to teach a variety of military skills, including pilot training, aircraft maintenance, and weapons systems training. Friends, so if you look at all these companies, they are hand in glove with the American government. Hand in glove is not in the bad sense, but a collaborative effort. Okay, now it seems like China, because they cannot infiltrate the Pentagon, it's quite next to impossible. They have found out a way. So what is the way? They have started working with these organizations, the names that I mentioned just now, right? So they started to tie up and form alliances with this company, because when these ex-military people teach the military warfare and other things, the students will compose of Chinese people also. Okay, because it's a private entity, and it's a private entity to private entity deal. So there is very much a possibility that China might say, we'd like to have 200 people trained on this particular tech, give them a fat paycheck to these companies, and your trainings are done. So that's one way China is actually doing it. Okay. The other way China is also doing it is the same thing. They are saying to this, military veterans of the United States. In fact, it's a direct deal. Okay, where they are offering them fat paycheck and saying, come to China, teach all these things to our military staff, so that what are the strategic and tactical loopholes are there in our system, we can bridge them and close them out as quickly as possible and be a very powerful military country. Okay, so this is what they were aiming at. Of course, so in a nutshell, what is happening and what China is doing is, friends, they are hiring former military officers to help the Chinese army. Okay, now as far as US is concerned, this is considered to be a violation of the code of conduct, and they have many times requested the former military people to look into the people or the organization that they are affiliated with. Okay, because at the end of the day, it should not become a case where you are basically training somebody and they are looking into your eye and combat ready in next 6 months to 12 months. Okay, this is exactly what happened as far as the economic warfare is concerned. How do you think China's economy came to this particular stage where they started showing eyes to the Americans? So okay, so 30 years back, 1970, right? So 40 years back, they went to United States, pitched that we can be the global manufacturing hub of the world. The West, led by United States, also gave in to China, and today all the wealth that we're talking about of China is coming from the West, and West manufacturing units, gigafactories that are set up in China. Now look at what is happening. China is showing eyes to West itself. Okay, so if you basically start giving the military training and military warfare tactics and strategic trainings to China, I think at some point of level, because China's intentions are not good, it may go wrong. Okay, so this is something that has happened, and these people are not small guys, friends. These people are the people who have basically trained the NATO personnel. Okay, the NATO group is there, right? So which is basically backing Ukraine in the Russia-Ukraine war. The fighters of NATO are trained by this so-called veterans of US military. Okay, so that's how powerful this ex what do you call militia is in the United States of America. They are just not retired servicemen who are studying there and enjoying their day in and day out. Okay, that's not the case. So they are involved in their SME, subject matter expertise, day in and day out, somewhere or the other. So this is what has happened, friends. So in a nutshell, China is trying to woo the United States military personnel. Okay, and with those military personnel, they are trying to get the United States strategical and tactical military warfare philosophy. That's point number one. And the execution of the philosophy. That's basically we are talking about arms, ammunitions, and so on and so forth. This is what China is trying to do. I don't know whether you should call it stealing, because at the end of the day, once this process culminates into what you call a prospective one for China, then it creates a big unrest for the rest of the world, because we know what China will do with all this assimilated knowledge from the United States of America itself. I told you about the economic warfare, right? So in a nutshell, this is what China is doing, friends. Again, I don't know. Maybe you can consider it as a amazing strategic move by China, or as far as I am concerned, I personally feel this is another great misadventure from Uncle Jai. Okay, that's what is my personal opinion. So friends, so that's what today's video is all about. Just because China doesn't have the required resources, they are going after the US military people. So now there are opportunities and challenges both in this scenario, and we'll have to see how this pans out. Okay, but in a nutshell, as far as I'm concerned, I personally feel China, being China, and its intentions, proved not once, time again. It's not prudent for the US military to basically teach the Chinese military how the US military think tanks thinks and works. So that's something that should never go to China. Okay, friends, that's what I believe in. So that's what is my thought process about it. Friends, I come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Friends, one more thing, I would really appreciate if you can share your thoughts and feedback on this video, because it basically helps me again, and I keep repeating it, bring you curated content that will be of interest to all of you. Okay, friends, once again, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, Jai Hind, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.